screen. But anyway, I think we are live. So I need to try and work out whether I can see on my YouTube whether we're live and whether I can see on. Okay.
I'm going to just run over to the computer and just check it out. I'll
Yeah,
be right
it doesn't
back.
say that we have anyone watching us, so I'm wondering whether we are there or not. Or Lord knows, I'm streaming live into Lord knows where. Oh, I can see I'm live. Yep, I can see I'm live on my channel. And we're live on Rose's channel. So we are there. Yes, we're there. We're there, Rose. I can see it.
Okay, great. Technology, you have to love it or hate it.
So welcome. Matthew's on. He said he's found us. So there you go. So welcome, everyone. We are streaming live. Rose Ward, my awesome friend from New York, and myself are here streaming our live craft along session for January 2025. This is the second craft along. So hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Morning.
We have a few people that have joined us. So some of our I'm just going to mute I'm going to mute all, but Rose, you'll have to unmute yourself.
All right.
Once I mute everyone, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Good to go.
Oh, good. Okay. So we have a couple of our basic card making people here today, which is really awesome. So they're joining in for a craft along. So you get to see some of our basic foundation card members. So they get to do this with us every month. They get to have a craft along session with us every month, and we stream it here live on our YouTube channels. But they also get content that is in our Facebook group as a member of our basic foundations of card making. So Rose, would you like to talk a little bit about what we're going to do today?
Sure. So last month was December, and we did the basics, and then throughout this month we did some cards where we just used the ephemera packs and the already made cards, and then we stepped it up and we showed you how to cut one of the cards in half and layer it onto the card base. Now what we're going to do is we are going to use those templates that you all made, and we are going to be doing some more layering, still using the ephemera packs. And if anybody's out there watching wondering what this is all about, like Donna just said, each month as a subscribed member, you get the Facebook group, you get the craft along, but you also get product. And I apologize for my lights. It's set up for my live tomorrow. You also get product. We send you product so that you can craft along. So you're not just watching us, you're actually working with us. And again, like Donna said, it's the basics. We're going to go, as we say here, I'm not sure, my kids never heard this, soup to nuts. Okay, we're starting at the basics and we're going all the way through. So if you're watching and you aren't part of our group yet, we hope you'll join us.
All right.
Now, I was going to say, we didn't talk about who wanted to go first. I'll go first.
You can go first. You can go first.
Okay, gee, thanks.
I'll sit back and watch, and then I may get ideas from you, and I might have.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking if Donna goes first, I might get an idea from her. All right, if you can flip the screen to can you see me? Can you? There we go. All right, so what we're going to do today, instead of just using the card base, and I apologize, my laptop's in the way, but we're going to take the 8.5. Now for US, it's 8.5 by 11. I know the cardstock is different in Australia, and that's one of the reasons that we did that template, because we did it in the US measurements, and then we did it with Donna's measurements in Australia.
So can I just chime in here for my
jump in anytime you want.
So for my Aussie people, you are actually going to cut a regular card base from your card template that we shared in the group. You're going to cut your regular card base For the US people, you are going to cut your regular card base for the US as well. So, so depending on whose measurements you're going for. So that's why we've got the template. So whenever we say we're going to cut a card base, you go to your template and your measurements to be able to cut your card bases.
Perfect. Exactly. So I am cutting this right now in half, and I'm using the, well, some people call it the hamburger style, or if you do it up and down, vertical or horizontal. But okay, so I just cut that in half, and then I'm going to score it. Now remember, the measurements, if you're in the group, you already have these measurements. I'm just scoring that in half, and that I'm going to use as my card base. Now, thick white is what we want to use for a card base. And just looking for my bone folder, which is probably hidden somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's in my cup, ready for my live tomorrow. So I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to bring in, remember, we have these cards. Now, this is a full card, and this is one of the ones that I cut. If you're in the group, you saw my, I think it was card number 2 that I did, where I cut the card in half. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to layer that onto my white. Now, when you cut these cards in half, you still have to take your template and cut it to match that. Now, the template, again, has the numbers on it. We gave you all the template measurements. So you want to take your contrasting black, your black template, and cut that card base in half, and then trim it to your black. I just want to make sure I'm in camera view here. So take your black.
And so I'm chiming in again. So for us friends, our card bases, because so our card base is different to our pre-made cards and envelopes that you got in your kit. So for us, the reason why we're using our white card base now, for the Americans, it's okay. But for us, that card base will not work for us to actually do our layers. So the reason we're using the white is to be able to then use our template to go ahead. So if, as Rose has said, you know, we're now going to cut the black layer. So you will know the measurements of your black layer and you will just cut it to that measurement, but you're cutting the half sheet of your card base that you originally cut.
And I'm just going to show you something real quick, because again, this is part of being in the group. When you have your templates that we've done, you can also put your measurements on there, but that's part of being in the group. Then you get that. So I've already cut this one down from the last card. So this is the black layer template, and I'm using that on the blue. Now I'm not going to glue this down yet because I have the pink, and I want to layer onto the blue now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next layer, okay, which is, for those of us in the group, that's your berry burst, okay? And I'm going to cut that down to that template size.
We have 31 people watching us live at the moment.
Hey, welcome. So now I've layered that onto my blue, and that's layering, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this, and I'm going to take those dimensionals. Now, you did get those as part of your kit. And I'm not laying this down flat. I'm going to layer this with dimensionals. I am a dimensional person. I'm a puffy person. I like nice puffy cards. And yes, they probably cost extra in the mail, but aren't your friends and family worth it? Let me take your pick tool and just flip those off. Now I'm going to take this layer, and I'm going to layer that right on there. So, and that's what it is. It's all about the layering, nice basic measurements. And if you have these measurements and you have our templates, you'll never, like Donna said earlier, before we went live, you'll never mess up your cards. So now I am layering that right on top. Okay. Now I have this piece, which I used in my card number 2, and I cut that in half. Now I want to use it again, but you see this edge is kind of like cut off. So I'm going to flip it around this way and use it that way. I'm not putting it down yet because I still have to decide what else I want to do with this. So I'm going to bring in some of that ephemera pack.
That's a great idea too, cutting that beautiful die cut in half to make those die cuts go further.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now I have these balloons, and we'll get into coloring and you know, with regular markers and blends down the line. But what I'm going to do is, again, you know, I like to layer. So I am going to take my, give me my scissors. I'm going to take let me show you in camera. I'm taking that very edge of the dimensionals, which you got in your kit, and I'm just taking that strip, cutting it very thin. So now I have a thin little piece of dimensional, which I probably won't even be able to fix with my take off with my nails, right? We're going to try this. Come on. This is the tricky part. For those of you that don't have long nails, you'll be fine. There we go. Okay. I'm going to layer that right on top here. And then I am just going to cut off that little piece right here. That's going to hold that bottom piece in place too. I'm going to layer that right here. I'm going to take these little balloons, and I am going to, again, dimensionals. I like puffy cards. I'm going to put it right here.
Don't we all? I love dimensionals too.
I know. You just got to love dimensionals. Okay. One more. And we also like to use our edges. Slide that right in there. Now I'm going to take the happy birthday. Not sure I might use this, might not. Let me take that happy birthday. I'm thinking I like it without it. But I really want it to show up, so maybe we'll use the happy birthday on the inside. Let's see. Oh, yes. This is the way I work. There we go. Now I'm going to grab my Stampin' seal, which of course needs to be refilled. How easy it is to refill the Stampin' seal. And I'm going to use the happy. Now I'm not doing this one on dimensionals. Okay. I am just gluing this down flat. Oh, happy day. And I'm thinking I still might want to use this, but I'm not sure. Actually, I think I'm going to frame it. This card is a definite card on the fly, folks. I'm going to take that, and I think I am going to not use it now. Not sure I like it. We'll see.
You might have to pull up your dimensionals and pop it.
I might.
Further.
But I'm thinking, let's see. I don't like it. I'm not going to use it. But it's all good because we're just playing. Okay, now I got a cute little cupcake. I'm going to go with that. Anybody that has watched me knows that when I do a card on the fly, I always say, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing. And that doesn't sound right. I don't know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing. I'm going to put that little guy right there. So now I have a really dimensional card. You see all the dimension on it. And I'm going to put something on the inside. Now, again, remember, later on, after the basics, we'll get into the gems, we'll get into the ribbon. These are just basic cards for you to start with. But the most important thing we're doing is the layering and knowing what measurements you're going to use for your layering. And I am going to take my Celebrate. I'm going to put that one on the inside. I'm going to lay that one flat. I'm going to grab another little cupcake. Yep, you guessed it. I'm going to use a dimensional. And oh, by the way, make sure you use all your edges up. And I have to tell you, these edges right here are perfect for the long sentiments. And I'm going to add that little cupcake right there. And there I have a very basic, but look at that card.
Isn't it amazing once you start layering and adding dimensions, how much it just escalates the card?
Absolutely. And you can see through here how many layers are on there using the template. And I've also used this piece for two other, another card, the one I did on the Facebook group. And also, these pieces, you have more to use because now I still have this piece, which I will be using on my next card in the group. So I still have a piece of the pink to layer for another card.
So I was going to say, Ina's saying that she sometimes stops when she runs into a snag. It is good to watch those that just keep going. So where you decided that you were going to use the frame and then you decided against it, she said it was nice to see that you just kept going, where she said that she would normally give up and stop making the card. So,
oh, okay.
So as you can see, to keep going, you end up with a beautiful card in the end, and it's okay to run into those snags. But
now what I'm thinking is somebody's probably saying, but now you just cut that in half and you wasted it. I didn't waste it because I'm just playing, like I could put it right there, make it look a little like a little bowl almost, but I'm going to use this on another card. So I'm going to keep those pieces, even though I decided not to use them on this one. I will be using those on another card in our Facebook group, and you'll be able to see that when I do it, maybe next week.
Awesome card. Thank you, Rose.
You're welcome.
Well, now I guess it's my turn to.
Well, now it's your turn. I hope I gave you an idea, and I know what's going to happen. You're going to give me an idea, and then I'm going to say, oh, I got to go do that now.
So I did have a little bit, hang on, I'm trying to spotlight there we go. There we go. I had a little bit of an idea of what I wanted to do beforehand. So once again, I have a basic white thick here that I'm going to do my card base. So from your template, for us Aussies, we will be cutting our card base to the template size. I'm going to cut 2 card bases out of that one basic sheet because I'm going to show you exactly how much wastage we have, and it's very minimal. And the whole idea of us doing this basic card making, can you see here, I'm cutting 2 layers here at once. So you can actually save a little bit of time. So I've cut that in half, and then I've got my 2 card bases ready to go. So out of one full sheet of cardstock, these are the bits that you have left over. Okay, so we're not wasting. We don't have huge chunks that are like 3 inches by 4 inches or whatever left over. We have that little bit. Now, I don't waste these bits. This bit here, I could possibly use it as a bit that I want to do on the inside of a card to add a feature or something. But these pieces here, I save all these because they're what I use for my very thin, very narrow sentiments on my cards. Perfect size.
Donna?
Yes.
I'm going to hop in right now and tell you that when I just saw you cut that, now I understand, when we get talking about the different sizes, your sizes versus the US sizes or my sizes. Now I see what you were saying, because when we cut ours in half, we automatically have it in half the A2 size that we need.
And so, we don't. Yeah, we don't.
Seeing it done like this is great because now it makes sense to me.
Okay, So now I'm actually going to, I've got to remember how I'm going to do my layers. I'm going to, in my card, I actually cut my pink card in half. So I'm actually going to cut this one to my black template size. And that's going to give me, and I think it's the right size that way, it is. Okay, so that's going to give me my first layer. I'm then going to take my berry burst size and I'm going to, I don't know why, but I needed to have another one cut in half, but I'm just going to cut that one in half. I'm going to use a blue piece now as another layer because I wanted to have pink, but I want to use this gorgeous die cut and I wanted to have it with a blue base behind because if I put it with the pink you can't really see it. It would be nice just to have texture, but it really makes it stand out when we have the blue behind. So I decided that I wanted to have the blue behind. So I'm going to cut this blue to my berry burst template layer. And now I'm looking at my berry burst to make sure I've got the right measurements. Because I would have just went ahead and done my normal next layer, which my normal next layer wouldn't be as small as this. Okay, so we're cutting that one to the berry burst layer, which will then layer up really nicely onto that pink. Okay, so we're just going to have that nice pink 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And all right. Now, I'm going to save these pieces because these pieces I may use on the inside of the card. So I'm just going to keep those. And as we said, we are winging it. So now I noticed that Rose scores her card bases. I don't score my card bases. I use my trimmer and I actually pop the edge of the card base up into the guide here on my trimmer. I fold the other side up and then I crease it. And that's actually how I do my card bases.
I would have never thought of that. That's a great idea.
And the reason why I do that is because when you butt it up against there, it makes those edges nice and straight together. Because sometimes when you're folding your cards, sometimes this is just my personal experience, but sometimes if I've scored it and I haven't scored it correctly, we may have it that it's very crooked here on this end. Where when you do it like that, I feel like it gives it a nice flush. But that's just personal choice.
That is a great tip. I might have to steal that one.
Okay. All right. Now, I actually have a piece of this blue. I've got the other side of this blue left. So I'm actually going to do another thing because I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to take my Melon Mambo layer and I'm actually going to cut a Melon Mambo layer. I think I can get it this way. Yes, I can. So I'm going to cut my Melon Mambo layer. And this is just going to make a piece stand out a little bit more on the front of my card. Okay. So they're the pieces, and I could go one step again and do the boho blue layer, but I won't do too much. See, I need to stop myself. All right, so I'm now going to put this layer onto here. Now, can you see with our layers, this is only going to give me a little border down both sides, but it's going to be flush on both sides. And I'm okay with that because I don't want to actually touch that gorgeous die cut. I want to keep it all in one bit. So I'm now going to use my liquid glue. And it's always nice to do a little bit of a dry run of what you're going to do. The dry run was for me to sit there and see if that was going to fit that. Now, the reason why I use liquid glue is because it actually gives me wiggle room. So I can line this up, I can wiggle it with my fingers and get it to sit exactly nice and flush where I want it to be and have an even border both sides. So you get a couple of seconds to be able to wiggle it, and that is why I like to use liquid glue, because I'm shocking at trying to get things straight. So I like to be able to wiggle it with my thumbs. Once again, personal choice. Now, this Melon Mambo layer that I've done, I want to sit that up in the middle here. Because I have these cute little cupcakes that I think are super, super cute. So my thought process was, I'm going to pop that blue, the Melon Mambo layer that I cut there out of the blue. I'm going to pop that up. Then I'm going to pop my little die cut pieces up. And then I'm going to pop my Celebrate on the bottom. All right. So I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back here.
I love it. And one thing I want to mention while we're live is you saw how Donna used the liquid glue and I used the Stampin' Seal, which Stampin' Seal is usually my go-to. I am getting better with the liquid glue. I'm not getting it all over like I used to, but it is just a matter of preference. Both of them are very good adhesives and they stick very well. Your cards aren't going to fall apart. It's just a matter of what you like to use.
I think that's the thing. It's just a personal preference and what you feel comfortable using. I'm just going to add a dimensional in the back of all of those little cupcakes while I'm going. And as you can see, I have a take your pick tool here too, but this take your pick tool is one that I have the die cutting brush on the end. So we have detachable pieces that actually we can unscrew that and I can put the putty end back in and use the putty end. But I have several of these take your pick tools in my drawer. At the moment, I can't find my putty end one, but we just got the die cutting one. But anyway, all good.
I was just going to say that to you. I have several of them too. Do you find that you still lose them in your craft room?
I know. I mean, like, yes. So Lord knows where the other one is. All right. So now when I go to do this, so I still haven't put any of these layers on my card yet. Okay. So sometimes what I do is I build my card. I don't actually stick anything to my card base until I'm ready to actually finish off that card. So I'm building that front layer here, ready to go on to the next layer. All right. So I'm now going to add my little cupcakes. So one there. One there. And another one there. So I've chosen 3 different colored icings with cupcakes. I'm then going to add my Celebrate. Now, I want to tuck it up under here, but I want to overhang it off that layer that I've got in the middle. Don't be scared to overhang things over layers. It gives more dimension to your card. Instead of me sticking that, I'm going to stick it all in the middle here on that layer. I want that end just to overhang. Now, if I'm going to overhang it, I probably want to put a dimensional on that end and put liquid glue on this end. Okay, so it evens it out and it makes it sit really nice and straight. So I'm going to add 1 dimensional just on the end there. I'm then going to add some liquid glue under here. And then I'm going to sit that and I'm going to tuck it in up underneath those cupcakes and have it just overhanging over the edge there. Now, remembering, even though that point is still overhanging that layer, I've got another layer that I'm going to layer that up on. So it's still staying in the confines of my card. Okay. Now with this one, because it's got that nice little layer, once again, I like to use my liquid glue because I've popped up the center piece. I've also popped up the cupcake. So I've got 2 lots of dimensions there. So I'm actually just going to adhere that straight down onto there. Use that wiggle room once again with that glue to be able to get it nice and straight where I want it to be. Turn that over and we're going to add that to our card base. Now, every time you're going to use your card base, make sure, look, I could have put that the wrong way up. Okay, so make sure when you grab your card base, you've got it opening the right way and how your card's going to lay. And then I'm going to adhere that straight to my card base. So you can see there, just with those layers, we've got the white, we've got the pink, we've got the blue, we've got pink, and then we've gone blue. So if you keep alternating with your colors, you'll find that you'll get a nice contrast with your layers. All right. Now for the inside, I think I'm just going to do, and once again, we are just winging this as we do. So I'm going to do this sentiment here that Rose used on the front of hers. I'm going to use mine on the inside. And do I have balloons left? I do. I have some balloons left. Or no, I'm going to do balloons. I'm just going to add some balloons here like that. And then it gives enough room to be able to write on the inside of our card. There, like so. Now, as I said about these strips, I could pop a little strip like that on the inside, and that's just going to decorate. I could have used the strip that goes down the side. I don't mind that that doesn't go right to the edges. I'll just center that in the middle, and it's just added a little bit of to the inside. I could have used a strip like this down the side if I wanted to. If I didn't use that one, I could have used a strip down the side as well. So don't throw bits and pieces like that out. You can always use your scraps. And there is my card for our layering today. So you can see how our template is going to come into play, because I can sit my template on when I'm about to design a card. I actually sat my Melon Mambo template on there to see whether that was going to be the right size for my little cupcakes to sit on. Okay, so that's how our template is going to come into play. So there you go. That's my card. All right.
I love it. And you know what, Donna? What I just realized, and we both did these on the fly. We talked about it. We were like, we're just, we're going to just do, we ended up using the same elements, basically the happy day, the cupcakes, the balloons, and
we've got two totally different cards.
Yep.
Now, Rose, do you have the stamp set that the members will be getting next month? Do you have that on hand, close to you?
I have it right over there. I'll go grab it.
Can you grab it so we can actually show people what they're going to get next month? Anna's saying on her now in her comments, she said, I agree, it's good to keep going. And it is good to keep going, because I always think there's never a mistake that we make with our crafting that is too bad of a mistake that we can't resurrect it and make something out of it. So when I hear that people actually throw a card that they've been trying to do in the bin, that upsets me, because I think to myself, you can always, even if you have to walk away, leave it and come back. Sometimes when you walk away and leave it and come back, you've got a totally different idea of what you want to do when you come back.
And I don't know about you, but I have done that before. I've got an idea. I start crafting, start making a card. I make a mistake, and I'm like, and I keep going. And all of a sudden, the card came out better.
Yep. Yeah.
So don't ever, yeah, you're right. Just keep going. Okay. I do have the stamp set.
Okay. So this is the stamp set. So next month, for the people that are members,
put me on highlight this. So yeah, because otherwise it's backwards. So there we have the stamp set that you'll be getting as part of this group.
Okay, so next month you're going to be getting that stamp set. You're going to get an ink spot. And I mean, the ink spots are going to be all different colors, like depending on what we have on hand. You're also going to get a clear block, one of the blocks that comes in our kits. You're going to get one of those. And you're going to get a couple of sheets of basic white thick and a sheet of basic white regular. And we are going to start stamping next month.
Yes, so we are. And that's what we're going to start with.
Yeah. We're pretty excited to be able to get into stamping, because we've been teaching a lot of the basics, but we need those basics to move forward. And that's the one thing that I think is the whole point of doing this basic card making that we're doing, is that we need to, and I'm going to take it off your desk.
Yeah, my messy desk.
And put it back onto you. There we go. We'll spotlight both of us. Okay, so the whole idea is that we are teaching those basics, which you will be using time and time again, because it is that foundation of card making that you'll be using to move forward. But we're going to step it up. We're going to get into stamping next month, which is really exciting. Now, if you want to be a part of this, you need to register before the end of this month, and that's today for me here. It's tomorrow for you. Is that correct, Rose?
The end of January 31st would be tomorrow for us.
It's the 31st for us here today.
Yes, we have an awful time with that.
So if you are someone that that wants to sign up here in Australia, then please go to my Facebook business page. I did have the link when I originally was going to go live in the event that I'd posted before when it didn't work. I actually had our links in the bottom. So we will actually add our links to our YouTube channels here. so that you can
Absolutely.
subscribe if you want to come and subscribe. But you need to do it today to get in for February, because we will be ordering all of the product. I know that I've ordered some of it, but if anyone
Right.
registers today, I will be placing an order as soon as you register and getting those stamp sets ready to get sent out. So we did have a delay the first month, and that was because we had to order our product. We had to wait until the 7th of January and then wait for our product to get here. So please beware that people that are in the group, we are actually working tirelessly to get them out as soon as we can, but sometimes things go against us with when we're receiving the product. So Rose is lucky she's got a lot of hers ready to go for next month. I placed the order for mine Tuesday, so I'm hoping that they will be here early next week to be able to get them out for you. So I think we can probably sign off here on YouTube and say goodbye to our YouTube viewers. For anyone that's still in the Zoom call, we're quite happy that we'll just have a quick little chat with you after we've finished the live streaming here. And for everyone on YouTube, see you later, everyone.
Donna, one real
Yep.
quick thing I want to mention while we're still on YouTube. Next month we told you what you were getting. This month they got the note cards and the
And the
ephemera
ephemera pack.
packs.
Yep.
If you want to, if you join in February, we're still going to be using some of that, so you can still order those products that we're using through either Donna or myself if you're in
So
the
you can
US
actually
or
order the
Australia.
note card, the cards and
Right,
envelopes, and you can order the ephemera pack if you want to still be doing what we're doing next month, because we're going to incorporate stamping, but we're still using some of those die cut elements and
right,
things
right.
as
So
well. So, but you can order them as an extra if you want to still keep going with us next month. So yeah, awesome. All
okay.
right, goodbye to YouTube land. Thanks
Bye. Thank you
everyone
for
for
tuning
watching,
in.
and we'll see you all again soon.